It was a brisk October evening in Baltimore, Maryland. The city streets hummed with a mix of traffic, the distant whir of sirens, and the clinking of bottles as the night slowly descended upon the crumbling urban landscape. The sun had just dipped behind the skyline, casting long shadows across alleyways, empty lots, and high-rise buildings that had seen better days. Detective Mike Hayes, a veteran with the Baltimore City Police Department, leaned against the hood of his unmarked car, staring out at the skyline. His mind wasn't on the towering buildings or the usual humdrum of the night shift. No, tonight was different. Tonight, something in the air felt off. Hayes had been in the department long enough to know when a case didn't feel right. He had seen it all. Drug busts gone wrong, gang violence, robberies, and unsolved murders that weighed heavy on the hearts of the victims' families. But what had been brewing in the dark corners of the city these past few months was something far more dangerous and far more elusive. In the early hours of the morning, an undercover operation had gone awry, leaving one of our own, Detective Rachel Moore, dead on the streets, and the case now rested squarely on Hayes' shoulders. Rachel had been his partner for 5 years, and they had been through thick and thin together. Now, he stood here, grappling with a death and the investigation that was spiraling out of control. The facts didn't add up. Rachel had been ambushed, shot at point-blank range, and left to die in the alley. But the more Hayes dug, the more the details seemed to shift, like the ever-changing fog rolling in from the harbor. Was it a botched sting operation? A betrayal from someone within their ranks? Or was it something darker, something far more sinister that had infiltrated the very heart of the department? As a chilling wind blew through his jacket, Hayes couldn't shake the feeling that Rachel's death was just the beginning. He felt the weight of the unanswered questions pressing down on him like a vice, the nagging voice in his head telling him that he wasn't going to like where this investigation led. It was time to uncover the dark secrets that had been festering within the law enforcement community for years, secrets that no one had dared to confront. Welcome back to Crimes Exposed, a true crime channel. Before we dive deeper into this chilling investigation, I just want to remind you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our future uploads. We post true crime, suspense-filled stories every week, and each case is more shocking than the last. If you're new to the channel, be sure to catch up with our previous videos to immerse yourself fully in these gripping tales. Now, let's jump right back into our story. Baltimore, known for its rich history and vibrant culture, had recently seen a surge in crime and corruption. While the city had its fair share of unsung heroes, officers who truly cared for the community, there was an undercurrent of something more troubling. The police force, once a respected institution, was beginning to show cracks, with whispers of internal corruption, gang ties, and betrayal. These dark secrets were hidden behind a thin veil of professionalism and public trust. Mike Hayes, a 40-year-old detective with a thick, graying beard and weathered eyes, had been with the department for over 18 years. A man who had seen it all, his hard-edged exterior hid a man struggling with the weight of the system he had dedicated his life to. Rachel Moore, his partner, had been a breath of fresh air in Hayes' otherwise jaded life. At just 32, she had joined the force as an eager rookie, ready to take on the world. Her brilliant investigative mind and her natural empathy for the victims made her an asset to the department. But Rachel had also been quietly involved in some of the department's most sensitive undercover operations, often putting herself in harm's way without a second thought. Their team was rounded out by their superior, Lieutenant Joseph Klein, a man known for his unyielding commitment to his officers, but also rumored to have close ties with some of the city's more dubious figures. There was also Officer Alicia Porter, a rookie with a sharp instinct and a fiery determination to prove herself in a male-dominated field. The circumstances leading up to the crime were complex. Rachel had been working undercover to infiltrate a gang involved in drug trafficking, arms dealing, and money laundering. It was a risky operation, and she had been meeting with a potential informant in the dark alleys near the harbor. She had texted Hayes just moments before she was ambushed, warning him that something didn't feel right. Then the call came in, shots fired, an officer down. As the investigation unfolded, the police department quickly realized that Rachel's death wasn't just another tragic casualty of the job. There were discrepancies in the case that couldn't be ignored. The initial report stated that Rachel had been caught in a crossfire during a sting operation gone wrong. But Hayes, ever the skeptic, knew better. The area where Rachel was killed was too quiet for a shootout, and her body showed signs of execution-style wounds. 2 shots to the head, point blank. Someone had been watching her, waiting for the right moment. Hayes immediately began his own investigation, diving into Rachel's last known activities. He interviewed her colleagues, sifted through her phone records, and analyzed her interactions with the informants. What he uncovered sent chills down his spine. Rachel had been keeping a secret, a deep, personal secret. She had recently uncovered a disturbing connection between high-ranking officers in the department and the gang she was investigating. She had been digging into the possibility that corrupt cops were not only turning a blind eye to the crimes but actively participating in them. This had made her a target. But that wasn't all. Rachel's death wasn't just about internal corruption. There were rumors of a covert operation involving the CIA and the FBI, where local law enforcement officers were being used as pawns to monitor and control the city's criminal underworld. The line between law enforcement and criminal activity had blurred, and the whole system was starting to collapse under the weight of its own deception. As Hayes dug deeper, he began to receive anonymous threats, phone calls late at night, and veiled warnings from fellow officers. Someone didn't want him to find the truth. The investigation hit multiple dead ends. There were conflicting eyewitness accounts, and the evidence seemed to vanish as quickly as it appeared. The suspect list grew, with names of high-ranking officials, corrupt officers, and even civilians with deep ties to the criminal underworld. But nothing solid enough to make an arrest ever surfaced. One theory was that Rachel had been killed by the gang she was investigating, a retaliation for her undercover work. Another theory pointed to a rogue faction within the police department, using Rachel's death to send a message to anyone who dared to cross them. But the more Hayes uncovered, the more questions arose. Was there conspiracy within the department? Had Rachel discovered a far-reaching web of corruption that spanned not only Baltimore but other cities as well? The most disturbing possibility was that Rachel had been betrayed by someone she trusted, someone within the force, and that her death was a calculated hit orchestrated by those she had sworn to work with. After weeks of painstaking investigation, Hayes finally uncovered the truth. The shock came when he discovered that Lieutenant Joseph Klein, his superior officer, had been directly involved in the corruption that Rachel had been investigating. Klein had been the one to orchestrate the hit, fearing that Rachel would blow the lid off the entire operation. He had used his position within the department to silence anyone who posed a threat to the operation, even if it meant sacrificing one of his own. Klein was arrested and brought to trial. The court proceedings were tense, and Hayes, while devastated by the betrayal, felt a sense of justice for Rachel and for the people who had trusted the law to protect them. But even with Klein's conviction, there was still much left unresolved. Other officers, civilians, and even politicians remained untouched. The conspiracy ran deep, and many of the players involved were still free, continuing to pull strings from the shadows. As Hayes sat in his office, staring at the photograph of Rachel, a nagging thought lingered in his mind. Was Klein the only one involved? And what about the bigger picture? How far did the corruption go? The story of Detective Rachel Moore and her tragic end serves as a powerful reminder of the hidden dangers within systems meant to protect us. It teaches us that even those who dedicate their lives to justice can become victims of the very corruption they fight against. No matter how dark the truth may be, we must always remain vigilant and never turn a blind eye to the secrets lurking in the shadows. In a world where power and trust can be easily manipulated, it's up to each of us to demand accountability, seek the truth, and hold those in positions of authority to the highest standards. Let's not forget Rachel's sacrifice, and let it inspire us to stand firm against corruption, no matter the cost. Do you think the corruption in the department went deeper than Klein? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this gripping tale, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more true crime stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. And thank you very much for watching. See you in the other one.